So there are a lot of conversations taking place about the trail leg, the trail knee bend. Should it stay the same? Should it lock out to dead straight? They used to do this back in 1935. Like, wow. Let's try to figure out what we're going to do with that trail leg there. And by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Let your friends know what we've got going on here. So this is a fascinating topic of conversation because you got to understand how the body parts are going to work, what's going to take place here, okay? So imagine when I get set up, I have a knee flex. Both my left and right knees are roughly going to be the same flex. I don't have a clue what it is, but there's a bend in there. Your knees are not locked out. They have a bend, okay? Now, there's a relationship of my heel to my hip. And when I rotate my chest, my hips are going to turn, which means this hip is going to move back that way. It also moves forward, but it moves back that way and forward. So that hip then is going to get farther away from that heel, which means this has to, by definition, start to get straighter. But make no mistake here. It does not straighten dead straight. It gets straighter, but it doesn't get straight. If you get straight, what will happen is, you can stay right on this. If I lock that out, this hip now is going to drive the other hip forward, and I'm going to almost get where my rotation is pivoted onto my lead leg. So many years ago, when I was starting to learn how to play this game, there was a term called a reverse pivot or reverse weight shift. And that came to be because when people were turning the hips and locking out the trail leg, that they would then sit on the forward leg and the knee of the forward leg would go right towards the toe. That's how this leg would get straightened out. Because the hip, when this goes down, this goes up, and this goes straight up and away that way, which has to lock that leg out. All right? What I want is I want a rotation that's taking place, but I don't want this hip to get so high or so forward that it locks out that knee, because then you're going to start to get where you don't really have any weight getting into the trail heel. So what we want to do when we make a backswing is the hip wants to rotate, and I want to feel like I'm getting some weight into this trail heel right here. Rotate and get that in there. Now, what you can see from my knee is my knee, like if I had like a flashlight coming off of that knee, when I rotate that knee's going to point over here. It's not going to stay pointed over here. And what happens to people who want to keep the knee flexes, they never rotate the hip. The hip doesn't rotate because that knee is going to stay there in that flex. And I don't want that either. I want that angle to get straighter, but never get straight. Okay, so hip is going to rotate. I want you to feel that hip rotating back, but I want you to feel some tension in the thigh. I don't want that knee to lock out. Rotate. And there. And now what happens is that you're going to hit a nice draw, and you can see that ball spinning over there. It also is going to have a little bit more pace to it because you're going to have a fullness that takes place with the rotation, and that weight gets into that heel. And now I like to imagine that if I'm going to use the ground, if I'm really going to push forward, I need to have some flex. My toes are going to grab the ground. My trail toes are going to be able to push off. But I need some flex in that knee. I don't want to see that thing go dead straight. That goes dead straight. All of a sudden, you're tilting this way. Okay? So let me show you what that's going to look like. If I take this knee and lock it out, I'm going to be down here. And now when I'm here, that means I'm going to have a steep angle coming into this, and I'm either going to stay on that, which is going to drive energy into the ground. I'm going to take a huge chunk of dirt, probably ruin your whole uni, which you got to have a good uni. I'm either going to take a huge chunk or I'm going to back away from it. My lower body's going to slide under to the ball, will early extend, and I'm going to thin it. So if I go this way, and you can see with your shadow, like when you look down and you lock out that, you're going to see your head get forward of the golf ball. That's going to be that reverse weight shift. We don't want any of that. We want to feel like we're getting some weight back in here, and then we're going to push off and drive forward here, okay? So let's show you what that reversed weight shift, straightening out that trail knee here, like this, and then I'm going to drive that into the ground. This thing's going to dig a chunk. Like that thing didn't go, well, it might go 100 yards, but it's not going to be anything that's going to be something you're proud of, okay? Or if I do that now, I'm going to try to, I got to get out of there. So in here like this and then jump out of that. That's a little bit better, but it's still ugly as sin. I mean, that's got you getting hit by the ugly stick. I want to make sure that your body is in here like this. You're rotated, you're loaded, and then you're exploding. So we're going to load and explode. And what I want you to do is make sure that this knee is straightening, but not getting straight. Okay? Hip is going to rotate, body's going to rotate. Here we go. A little bit of pow-pow on this one. That was special. That was exactly what I'm looking for. Look at that thing turning over to the left-hand side. Carries well past the target. Ball speed jumps up to 118. It's the same club head speed. I just got a little bit better strike. You want to improve your game. You got to understand what the body parts are supposed to do and then how they get affected. When you start letting this trail hip go back and you start loading that heel, that trail knee is going to get straighter, but it's never going to straighten. It will never get dead straight. It's going to get a little bit straighter, but it's never going to get locked out. Stay away from getting that knee locked out, and you're going to stay away from that reverse weight shift. You're going to improve that ball strike a whole lot better. It's one of the more important things that you can do with your golf game is understanding how that lower body is going to work. I hope you enjoy that one, and I hope it helps. To improve all parts of your game, subscribe to my channel and click the link below.